funding were to go away or to be drastically reduced?
It means that we would have to massively scale back our research endeavors. It would completely cut off the supply that US scientists have had to extraordinary researchers, to being able to bring more people into the field that can learn these techniques and that can push us forward. It takes us back to pre-World War II scientific endeavors. After World War II, there was a huge recognition that if you put money into basic research, then it pays dividends down the road. And that has obviously been the case in subsequent decades. I think if it goes away, the US is no longer a major leader in science and technology in the 21st century. Federal funding, it underpins everything that we do. It's so important. The National Science Foundation is the main route by which gravitational wave research is funded in the US. It funds activities for LIGO, which is the ground-based gravitational wave detector, the one it's got versions in Louisiana, it's got versions in Washington State, and it's this incredible machine that's a few miles along in an L shape, firing laser beams in this L shape and picking up ripples from the universe that come from black holes colliding, billions of years ago, that eventually have found its way here. And also for my field, which is pulsar time and array science, through the NanoGrav collaboration. NanoGrav is the North American Nanohertz Observatory for Gravitational Waves. It's funded by an NSF Physics Frontier Center, and it allows us to time radio pulses that come from lots of different objects in the Milky Way. And if we time those radio pulses that come from these objects really, really well, we can look for any deviations, any things that might cause little upsets in the regularity of the timing of these objects. And the one thing that could cause common timing upsets in lots of these objects is if a gravitational wave is rippling through the galaxy and causing galactic scale deformations in space and time. The NSF funds that. The NSF funds us to work on that research, to come up with theoretical models, to make observations of these radio pulse emitting objects. It's just extraordinary how much it has contributed to our knowledge of the universe. You add on to that the fact that NASA is a major partner in an upcoming space mission for gravitational waves, then it's a huge portion of what we do is funded by federal resources. If research cannot be funded in this way, and through major research institutions like Vanderbilt is how this kind of research has been done in the last half century, if that is curtailed in any way, it just really limits what we can do and say about the universe and how it affects broader society.
Federal funding has been very important for me to fund the machines that we use in our endeavors, also to support the computing resources that we need, because we take data, petabytes of data, and our students learn how to analyze these petabytes of data, and we need computing resources, high performance computing to do that.
Federal funding has supported me throughout my career. So every single lab I've been in has been funded by the NIH, and I would not have been able to work in those labs if those labs were not funded by the NIH. But late in my career, when I was a postdoctoral researcher, I was funded by this NIH grant called the K99R00. This is a grant that went to me as an investigator, and it was there to support my transition from a postdoctoral researcher to a faculty member. And I can say with certainty that I would not be here where I am today, leading a lab studying developmental processes, if it wasn't for that grant.
Could you maybe touch on more broadly why you think federal funding of science has upgraded?
Yeah, I would say there's three reasons why that is. And the first one is, I'll repeat myself a little bit, but I think it is an important mission to try to understand the basic properties via which healthy development occurs so that we can make a meaningful impact towards curing neurodevelopmental disorders in this career. This is something that I've devoted my life research to, and I would not be able to devote my life research to this mission if it wasn't for federal funding. I think federal funding is key for making discoveries in basic research. The second one is I'll say that since World War II, the federal government has spent a lot of money towards increasing science in the United States. That has led to the United States leading the charge in science and technology. There have been some meaningful results from this. Many countries think of us as one of the best countries for science. And that wouldn't be the case if it wasn't for this huge investment that the federal government has made for the last several decades. And then the third one is I'll say it is very powerful for the federal government. It is important for the federal government to fund research because I think it's good economically. So from a very basic level, federal money increases jobs in science. So it creates jobs in itself. I think second of all, a lot of the discoveries that we make in basic research lead to better medicine. And better medicines means that there are better health outcomes to diseases. It means that we have longer lifespans, and it leads to a healthier workforce. And I think all these factors together lead to a stronger economy.
So federal funding is very, very important for studying fundamental physics and in general for science. Science these days is global. This global science requires global alliances, and only federal funding can provide the resources that we need to achieve our goals.